that the image is so funny that you'll find it rather amusing to look at. These are the 6 tasks that are going to be done in this demonstration. And again, you'll be asked to imagine as best as you can, and a scoring guide will be provided at the end of this demonstration. In the first task, I would like for you to sit at your table or at your desk or at your seat, wherever you are, and hold your hands out in front of you with your hands facing inward about 12 inches apart from each other, much like you see in this picture of a boy holding his arms out, but hold your hands about a foot apart. About a foot apart, palms facing inward, just like that. Now close your eyes. I want you to imagine that there is a force that is attracting your hands toward each other. It's as if your hands have been magnetized, and as you imagine this magnetic force, it starts to bring your hands together. Perhaps slowly at first, but they will begin to move. And as they move, you'll find that the magnetic force gets stronger and stronger. And the stronger the magnetic force becomes, the more they move. The more the hands move, the stronger the force becomes. The stronger the force becomes, the more the hands move. They're getting closer and closer together, moving closer and closer together. The force between your hands is getting stronger and stronger, pulling them closer and closer together. So close, you may find that your hands may actually touch. So close, they will actually touch. Moving closer and closer. The force between your hands is very strong, moving closer and closer, so close they may touch. Now, open your eyes and observe your hands. Of course, there's no longer any force. There is no force at all. It was just your imagination, and you can put your arms down. Perhaps you may have noticed that there was a feeling of your hands moving closer together, and they may have moved, perhaps a little bit, or even more, together. In the second task, I would like for you to just rest your hands in your lap or on the table or on your desk, wherever you might be, in a position where they are comfortable. But make sure that your hands are not touching one another, or that one hand is not on top of the other. Just so that they're in your lap or on the desk or table, and that they're relaxed. Now, close your eyes, and I want you to focus on your right arm. Imagine a feeling of relaxation moving into your right arm and hand. Imagine a feeling of extreme relaxation moving into your right arm and hand. Imagine what it's like for your hand and arm to be so relaxed and so comfortable, much like when waking up in the morning and being so rested and so relaxed that it doesn't feel like you want to move. Imagine that same feeling being in your right arm and hand, that it's so heavy, so relaxed, so comfortable, that just for a little while, you find that just for a little while, until I say otherwise, that your hand and arm are so relaxed that they just don't move. Maybe you might be able to budge your arm and hand a little bit, but you may find that your arm and hand are so heavy and so relaxed that you might not be able to even do that. Why don't you just try to lift that heavy arm and hand up in the air? Just try. The more you try, the heavier it becomes. Just try. That's fine. You can open your eyes, and your arm and hand are no longer heavy. They're back to normal. Just tell yourself they are not any more relaxed than your left arm and hand. Your arm and hand are back to normal. You can move it very easily. Move your arm and hand very easily as we move on to the next task. In this task, you will see that there are 2 shapes composed of squares and rectangles. On the right is an image in color. On the left is a grayscale image. Now, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to imagine that the grayscale image is in color like it is on the right. Now, look with your eyes open, of course, at the grayscale image. Just imagine that color is being added to it. Imagine that it's becoming colorful as the image on the right-hand side. See the squares as they start to become colorful. See the different shades of colors start to fill into those squares, and you could see the left-hand image being as colorful, if not more colorful, than the one on the right-hand side. See the beautiful and vibrant colors that are both on the left-hand side and right-hand side. See the colorful images. See how the squares and rectangles are in color. Make note of what colors you see. See the vibrant colors. And the more you imagine it, the more real they become. And the more real they become, the easier it is for you to imagine them. Full of color. Very, very colorful. Very bright and colorful. Now, just tell yourself, of course, that it's your imagination. And it's not in color. It's really a grayscale image. And you can see it the way it really is. A grayscale image. And of course you can see that on the right it is a colorful image. On the left-hand side it's a grayscale image, no longer in color. For this task you may skip it if you have some aversion to peppermint or peppermint oil or some allergy to it. Now in a moment I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and imagine that this peppermint oil has been placed underneath your nose, not on your nose, but underneath your nose. So please close your eyes. I want you to imagine that peppermint oil that picture of peppermint oil, that bottle of peppermint oil, has just been taken out, has been unscrewed, and now is being placed under your nose. Imagine that peppermint oil being placed under your nose, just the bottle of peppermint oil. Imagine it's being placed under your nose now. And as you imagine that being placed under your nose, you may start to notice the scent of aroma. The scented aroma of peppermint. Smell that peppermint smell. Smell the pleasant peppermint aroma being placed under your nose. Take a good whiff of that peppermint and notice how great it smells. Now just tell yourself it's your imagination. And of course there is no peppermint oil. There's no longer any need to imagine peppermint oil. You can open your eyes and know, of course, it was your imagination, that you were using your imagination. There, of course, is no peppermint oil, as we move on to the next task. Now, I want you to pick up the pencil or pen that is near you, and I want you to hold it in your hand. Just hold it in your hand and close your eyes. I want you to imagine. Now, I want you to pick up the pencil or pen that is near you, and I want you to hold it in your hand. Just hold it in your hand and close your eyes. I want you to imagine that writing implement has been attached to a heating element near you, and that the heating element will actually heat up that pencil or pen that you are holding. I have now turned on the heating element, and you may start to notice that the thing you are holding is getting warmer and warmer. Much warmer than what you would normally expect by holding a thing in your hand for that amount of time. And notice that it's getting warmer and warmer. Imagine it getting warmer and warmer, even hotter and hotter. Getting warmer and warmer. And the warmer it feels, the easier it is for you to imagine it getting hotter and hotter. So hot, so warm that maybe you need to put it down for a little bit. Maybe you have to put it down. It's getting very, very warm, very, very warm. Now, of course, just tell yourself it's your imagination. It's not hot. There is no heating element. The pencil or pen is not hot or warm. It's no warmer or any hotter than it would be if you had normally held it otherwise. It's all your imagination. And just tell yourself it's back to normal. You can hold it very easily as you do otherwise. It's no longer hot. Not warm. It's just your imagination. Now, in this task, you are going to be shown this image again. You'll be asked to use your imagination to find this image to be funny. You'll find this image to be funny in a little bit. This will not require you to close your eyes, although this image will be taken away in a moment. Now, I want you to tell yourself that that image, when you are shown it again, is going to be very funny. Tell yourself that what you're about to see again, you're going to see that image again, and it's going to be the funniest image you have ever seen. Just tell yourself it's going to be the most amusing things you have ever seen, and that you are going to get a good laugh from it. That you are going to find that picture funny. And even though you have just seen it, that when you see it again, tell yourself it's going to be the funniest thing you have ever seen. That for some reason it'll be as if somebody told you the funniest joke, as if you have seen the funniest TV show or movie, that you will find it to be so amusing, so humorful, that you will enjoy it very much. I'm sure you'll agree that you'll find the image to be funny because you'll see it to be a very funny image. Now, here is the image. Now, tell yourself, of course, that it was just an image and there's no need to find it funny. You only found it funny because you imagined it to be funny. Of course, I'll show it to you again. You'll realize this time it's not as funny as it was the first time that you saw it, or the second time that you saw it. It'll be just a picture like any other historic picture that you've seen. It'll be just a picture, a historical picture, a painting of a person. And of course, you'll not find it to be any funnier than you normally will. It's, of course, just the product of your imagination that you're doing. I'll show it to you here, and you'll see, of course, it wasn't funny like it was the last time. Okay, we're now going to score the items based upon how you remember them. And this is, of course, not the most precise scoring, but it has